Okay, everybody, we are live. This is the
Digo,
February
digo,
2025 HRC meeting. Bienvenidos a todos. Esta es la reunión de Comisión de Relaciones Humanas de la Ciudad de Boulder. Tonight we have a interpretation service for those who would like to listen in to the meeting or participate in the meeting in English or Spanish. Voy a repetir esta información en español después. If you can navigate to the bottom of your screen, you should see a globe that says interpretation underneath it. Click on the globe and select the language that you would like to listen and participate to tonight's meeting in. Si puede navegar al menú en la parte de abajo de su pantalla, debe ver un globo mundial. Puede hacer un clic en el globo y va a ver los idiomas que tenemos para esta noche son inglés e español. Si puede escoger la idioma que quiere usar para escuchar y participar en esta reunión. Cool. With that, I will pass it over to you, JH, and let me start sharing my screen.
let's see. Uh, Christian, I didn't hear it. Did you start the recording already? If I may ask.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Just trying to make sure.
All good.
So okay. I'm like rusty now. I feel like I'm sorry. Should we just do the number one, Christian? Is that correct? The call of order. It's 6:14, and today is February 18, 2025, and what um um that's all, Christian? I'm so sorry. That's why I wanted Carlos to do it because I
Yeah,
know
you're good. We called the meeting to order.
order. Yep.
Move right along to number 2.
Uh,
Any agenda adjustments?
any agenda adjustment at this point, if I may ask?
Yo tengo una pregunta para la agenda.
John, can you help me again?
Porque Elizabeth no está aquí, entonces no tenemos las updates del staff.
I will do the staff update tonight. If we have any follow-up that would require Elizabeth or anything that happened during the discussion.
Es que, es que la agenda que nos mandaste no está eso, por eso preguntaba.
Oh, okay. Yes, we have a couple of items, and I may have sent you an agenda that I saved before I had put those in there, so I apologize for that.
Ajá. No, está bien, gracias.
Are you gonna do the adjustment, Christian, or should I wait?
We didn't have an adjustment. Carlos was just asking a clarifying question on the agenda that went out on Friday.
That's fine. Okay.
So it doesn't sound like we have any agenda adjustments, so we can move right along to number 3, approval of meeting minutes.
Okay. So, give me a second, Christian. We are moving to the approval of the minutes from January 1st, 2021, no, January 21st, 2025. So, all can say hi. Can you see? I can't see myself.
Yo hago una moción para que se aprueben las minutas de el mes de enero.
I second that motion.
And I'll say hi. All in favor?
Sí.
Okay, cool. Boy. Okay, third one is trying to navigate that, and I'm sorry, guys. I apologize. And at this point, we have open comments. Is that correct, Christian? From 6:15 to 6:25.
We are rolling right along, and yes, you are correct. It would be open comment. However, we do not have any members of the public joining us tonight.
That's even better. Okay. And so okay. Any action items? You said none, and that too. I saw that, and then so now it's moving to discussion of and informational items.
Yeah. So it looks like CU Difficult Dialogues is there. So myself, Emily Faker, and Christian all attended a trial run of the CU Difficult Dialogues with Jennifer Ho. I think it went really well. It was nice to have that experience. And yeah, it would be interesting to discuss kind of where we go from here. It seemed like there were multiple potential options, including like whether some of us wanted to be trained to facilitate difficult dialogues. Yeah, I wonder if anybody else wants to fill in a little bit more of context of what they're remembering and where we might want to take this discussion.
I don't have too much to add, but yeah, I also found the meeting really informative and very useful. I think that the community could benefit from a discussion like that. There were definitely some comments that we made with adjustments because I think everyone kind of felt like the dialogue was being had you as a separate person with the person that was like the host, but not really with one another. I don't know if we are able to make any changes with that because it's already kind of a structured method that they have that we just have to follow. But nonetheless, I think it'll be useful. She did talk about how she's unable to probably have host all of the events herself. So she was wanting to train us if anybody was open to that. But I didn't know what the timeline for that looked like. I don't recall.
Yeah, I second what you're saying, Ficker, about the structure seeming a little, in my words, a little bit too rigid and not the way that we were practicing it. It came to light at the end that we were practicing it pretty straight. It was JH and Carlos. It was like a they called it the interview game, but it was there were different categories of questions, and a few people answered questions from each category. And the first few categories were about people, us generally, and why we were at the dialogue. And then the last few were about the difficult dialogue topic. And Jennifer provided some context throughout. She participated a little bit. I really appreciated how it focused very much on the person speaking's perspective, and nobody got there was no crosstalk or anything, and not that I would expect that from our group necessarily, but definitely from groups that have these core tensions. After the dialogue, I think, Aaron, to answer your question, I feel like a core question for me is still what is our goal of this difficult dialogue engagement? I did, without knowing what our goal is, I loved the idea of us helping support in whatever way that looked like the fall engagement, and that would be a more general session on maybe how to approach difficult conversations. And then also, Aaron, like you said, to have a few of us trained, and maybe we could host a number of dialogues next spring or something to that extent. But I will say I am still kind of unclear what our goal is, and I think that's important to decide if we can.
Yeah, I like the intention of like moving towards, it seems like we would like to help with dialogues, and I think there's like enough coherence around like we want to help with dialogues. Yeah, I don't feel total clarity on what the ideal next step is. I also feel interested in us like getting trained and being able to do it and maybe being able to support dialogues. I'm like, that could be an interesting thing if a few of us got trained and that was an option, but yeah, I'm not totally sure. Yeah, I would love to hear from Carlos and JH thoughts on this, and I'd also like to hear from, yeah, Christian, since you were also there, if you have anything. Maybe Christian first, since you were there.
Sure. And I think also let me see, because JH is pretty new to the conversation. Carlos wasn't able to attend, but has been more involved in the conversation thus far. This came out of, if I'm remembering correctly, a public comment that we had from a community member several months ago, reaching out to the HRC and urging some action around addressing tension in the community. The context that the community member at public comment brought this to the HRC was in light of the like ongoing conflict in Israel, in Gaza, between Israel and Palestine, and through some work with Aaron, our city manager, Nuria, as well as Center for Humanities and Arts with CU, we got hooked up with Dr. Jennifer Ho, who facilitates this sort of process, this difficult dialogues process that we have been talking about. Some of the commissioners, myself and Elizabeth, attended a sort of pilot run that was offered by Dr. Ho. And it looked like a facilitated conversation.
Oh, we've lost Christian.
Yo quiero decir
back.
algo, Aaron, antes de, me disculpo primeramente por no haber estado en esa reunión, pero yo creo que fue algo interesante por lo que estoy escuchando. Y si hay alguna capacitación para nosotros poder hacer este tipo de conversaciones, yo estoy dentro. Sí, gracias.
Cool. Yeah, no, I appreciate it and totally get that you had other life things to attend to. But yeah, glad that enough of us were able to go, and I appreciate your interest and willingness to support with that. I think I personally think like getting some of these trainings and like having that be a thing that we can help with, of like supporting dialogues, like I think that's very interesting. So did you have anything else you wanted to say, Christian, since you got booted off somehow?
The internet over here is going to be in and out, I am learning tonight. This is the second time I got booted out. So if I get booted out, I'm coming back, but keep doing what you're doing. Much appreciated, and sorry about that. I think I would just echo what Emily said, just being super clear on the why behind why we're doing this, and being crystal clear on that, as well as what we hope participants who would engage with us, if we're going to have commissioners be trained in facilitating the dialogue, what would we hope somebody who's participating in this walks away from the event with. And so just those two kind of things I would be very supportive of having intentional conversation around, and just making sure that we're clear and this is the right sort of avenue to achieve those goals there. But I agree, Aaron, it is a terrific opportunity, and it sounds like we have a great partner in Dr. Ho.
Fantastic. Jay, do you have anything you want to add to the conversation? It's not. You with us, JH?
Yes, I'm here. I'm just listening.
I was just saying if you had anything you wanted to add to the conversation.
Not really, because I feel like that's been my life here, handling hard conversation.
Mhm.
Because it's like how would I put it? Last week I was at the kids' school, and I'm a volunteer sometimes to certain things. So I ended up the one because ICE wasn't out here putting people on the bus stops. So I'm not gonna say, but somebody at the school reached out to me and told me to handle it. So I ended up being the one, you know, doing it. And I don't know. I think nothing. How would I put it? I think as an immigrant, that's put myself in the middle of most things here. I think I have had enough experience. Because I don't know if you know, me and my ex-wife, we worked at we started pretty much Boho. It used to call Boulder Homeless Overflow, and I was in the middle all the time. And she ended up leaving it because we couldn't handle it anymore with too much pressure. Because we had kids, it was a different life. And then, I want a lot of those. I'm not saying the training will not be good for me. I will be more than happy to participate if I could. Maybe I will learn something, or maybe they will learn something from me as well. But I think, overall, what I can say, it's a good thing. And I don't know if it's something I can be part of, I will be more than happy to do it. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing, and thanks for sharing your experience. So, what's everyone think? Is there a step we should take now? It sounds like we're like interested in exploring the possibilities. Maybe the next step is to express interest in the training and like getting training and getting more details, or what do you think is needed there, Christian? Or does anybody have any more thoughts around that? Yeah, Emily, you first.
I think if we could get consensus around definitely around getting training, that would be great. And maybe ask Jennifer when she needs to know whether we want to be a part of the planning for that bigger dialogue in the fall that they're
Yeah.
planning and wanted to see if we wanted to be involved in. And then curious if Christian, like, are we allowed to ask city council for their input? Because I would be curious to hear from them or from other stakeholder groups what they think might be helpful in this situation. Because I don't feel like for me in this conversation I have enough experience with the city council meetings and the conflict happening there to really be of service. So if there are people who are more directly affected we could talk to get their input, I think that would be a helpful next step.
Yes, I think if I'm remembering correctly from the meeting, April would be when they start to put together. I think Dr. Ho runs on a fiscal year, and so I have April noted as like when they would start planning for the next round that she mentioned at the pilot meeting. The in terms of communication, like with council, I think
It must be like a bandwidth thing where when he's talking it's just like, this is too much. Goodbye. It's right when you're about to make your point, Christian.
Every time.
right when I'm winding up to this one,
Yeah.
I didn't get any warning for.
Yeah.
But in terms of communicating with council, I think if we had a desire to do that, I could help facilitate that. I would just sort of again point out the sort of catalyst for, I think, why we're having the conversation came up out of council meetings. I'm not sure the why behind what we're trying to do is necessarily help at council meetings. I think, as Aaron mentioned before when sort of introing the topic, to help members of our community on different sides of an issue, different sides of a coin, to dialogue in a way that is respectful and productive there. So I think that's my long-winded answer to your question. Let me know if you have any follow-ups on that.
No, thank you for that the reminder. It's not about necessarily making the city councils more, I don't know, run more smoothly. It's to support healing our community and making our community more cohesive and able to support one another. So that's helpful. That does lead me to wonder, I mean, not that small scale change there's nothing wrong with it, and I think a lot of times we need to work in that scale, but I think another potential limit to the way that the what we did on Tuesday was that it is so small scale. So if my perspective is like, if we wanted to make a commitment, it would take quite a lot of these dialogues to really, start engaging with a number of people in the community, versus like the events that I've been to with Jennifer are bigger, like 20 or 30 people at a time. So just weighing those different modalities with impact.
I think you make a good point, Emily. Why don't we start with that event in the fall that's a lot bigger, and kind of see what we can do after that. I mean, it feels like such a long time from now. That's the only thing.
I think like I'd like us to see to take some kind of step in the short term that feels like it's like moving with our intentions. It doesn't have to be big, like whether it's getting training or something, but like personally, I'd like us to see us take some kind of step before the fall. I don't totally know what that step should be though.
Do we want to get a temperature check on getting trained and then see if we agree that we want to be trained, see what Jennifer's availability is, and that could be a next step?
Yeah, I think that would be good. Like maybe Christian, you can help support like figuring that out from Jennifer's side, and also if there's anything that's needed from like the city side, to see that as a possibility. But yeah, sounds like there's interest from all of us, including probably JH, although I imagine
yes,
this will probably happen after, because JH, when does your tenure end? It's coming up, right?
5 years. It's coming up, I think, in May.
In May. Okay, so you might have time to still get trained with us if you want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet. So do we have 5 thumbs up to interest in training?
Definitely. And maybe Christian, JH, just confirming, like, would you like to be included in the training? Because that would put that would be important to communicate to Jennifer, to say, like, is it possible for you to train us? So April. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. April, Christian would be the ideal time frame. Sounds like great.
I do just want to, so I am tracking follow-up items. Well, Aaron, you mentioned if there's anything needed from the city side, in addition to reaching out to Dr. Ho, can you just clarify what you meant there so I'm clear on it?
Like I don't know if the city would have to approve anything. I don't know if there's any costs associated, but yeah, just like anything that needs a yes from anybody in the city, just if you can support with that.
For sure, absolutely. Cool.
Sweet. And that covers that one. We've got 2 more discussion items.
Cool. JH was the next discussion item, the
I think it was the
lab to combat. Okay.
combat human trafficking presentation.
Yeah. So, Ficker was grabbing her laptop, but correct me if I'm wrong. I think the only thing we need to focus on right now is just getting the word out. So Christian, I had counted on seeing you on Tuesday, so I need to set up a time with you. And now that I am unemployed, I have a lot of time to distribute the flyers. So I could take probably 30 flyers or so, Christian, and I will just email you or text you to set up a time to pick them up from the office. Are you in the office every day?
Typically 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
Although I can make it in according to whatever folks' schedules are.
Okay.
So we can coordinate that. I think if you need printed flyers, I'm happy to do that. Just send me a text or send me an email with how many you would like and some times that you're available. And folks can just do that directly to me. And I'm happy to either leave them at the front desk for you or hand them over to you personally.
Great. Thank you. I think, Aaron, you mentioned you were going to do some online publicity. Is that something you need any like support or input around, or
Just like flyer link. I'll just include it in my newsletter.
okay, cool. Ficker or anyone else, is there anything we want to touch base with, like day of, like do we want to plan to get there half an hour early or something to be there to be with Kara? And if not everybody can show up at that time, no big deal. But day of logistics.
Yeah, I think showing up early would only be helpful. We can touch base with Kira.
Can you remind me the day it is?
Yeah.
It is Tuesday, March 18th.
Okay.
So the evening that we would typically be meeting is the third Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then we have the space starting at 5:30 p.m. So folks we'll plan to be over there a little bit before. And it is like restricted access. You need a badge to like buzz in, and so I can make sure I'm there a little bit ahead of time if you want to be there, as well as watching the doors to let members of the public in. Thus far, I will say I was just checking my email, got a update from Kara. We have 4 registrants so far out of a 60-person capacity room, so definitely want to make sure that we are reaching out to our audiences and out to our community.
Yeah, thank you. Carlos and Jake. Oh, sorry.
Can I get
Sí, sí quiero decir algo.
If you only have 4, I can if I can get, let me see, maybe 7 flyers, I can, because I have a group that I meet here once a week at like Ozo on like it's about 25 people to 30. I think I can invite them. And I have another group on South Boulder I met. It's a group of Mormon that I work with, so they will be more than happy to participate as well. But I don't know which day works best. So for me, if you can leave it in the front desk, that would be easier. So if I'm like dropping somebody off downtown or doing some errands for the shop, that would be easier. I can pick them up, and then go from there.
Great. Thank you, JH. Carlos, you said you wanted to say something.
Sí, Emily, estaba diciéndole a Cristian que el próximo día 3 de marzo tenemos la reunión de CIMO y me gustaría que tú y Cristian pudieran venir y hacer la invitación en esta reunión. Voy a hablar con Brenda para que les mande la invitación para esta reunión. Yo creo que podían tener un lapso de 10 minutos para hablar sobre esto.
That's awesome. Yeah, either Carlos, happy to receive the invitation from you directly or through Brenda or Christian, but yeah, I would love the opportunity to come speak and yeah, talk with people. And Christian, were we able to secure Spanish interpretation for that meeting? Awesome. Thank you.
Spanish interpretation and light refreshments. We'll
Heck
be
yeah.
there.
Great. And if there are 4 participants, they will be heavy refreshments, dinner for all of us.
Presumably 4 plus us, unless we are the 4. In which case, yes, there'll be plenty to go around.
That's true. We'll double the participant count. Okay, amazing. Well, great. It sounds like we still have some outreach to do, which is okay. It's a month away still. But
Christian,
plan
is it okay to?
Oh.
Sorry, Emily. Is it okay to post it on my Facebook if take a picture of it? Okay, that's fine.
Absolutely. I will share out as well. Just before Emily, I feel like you were about to maybe move to a different topic while on the outreach piece as well. I got 2 file formats. One is better for social media and one is better for printing. And so I'll make sure that you all have, I believe I sent them all out to you guys, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll make sure you get these social media ones because they came in a little bit after. And then I plan on, we do have BVSD, the school district support. So they will be helping us with some outreach, as well as I'm talking with our my communications colleague who's embedded in HHS to see if we can do a press release about the event as well. So hoping both of those can definitely boost attendance as well.
Thank you all so much.
Are we moving to the next topic? Can you hear me?
Did we miss
Fikri, you have
anything,
something to
Fikri,
say?
that you can think of? Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think everything's good. I don't think we got the social media format, Christian, because I saw the other one. So that would be great because that's kind of how I would share it too.
Can do.
So should we move to the next item there, guys, which is the immigrant, I think it's immigrant resources.
Yes, that is the next one up there. I can share a little bit of this unless JH, Carlos, you want to start off a convo?
Yo lo único que te puedo decir es que he recibido llamadas de personas que están asustadas, que tienen miedo de que se las pueden llevar. Yo lo único que les he dicho es de que se actualicen con gente que esté capacitada para que les dé información y que si no han tenido ninguna violación en sus derechos, que hayan cometido un delito o algo, que no se preocupen porque ahorita sobre los que están yendo es sobre la gente que tiene algún delito, ¿sí? Eh, es lo único que les he podido contestar, ¿verdad? No les he podido contestar nada más. Hasta donde sé y donde me han comentado que aquí en Boulder ya se han presentado algunos casos de que se han llevado algunas personas, pero estas personas que se han llevado es porque tenían alguna delito que habían cometido anteriormente, ¿sí? Y nada más han llegado por esa gente y se la han llevado, no se han llevado a más gente de aquí. Otra cosa de la que escuché es de que Boulder es una ciudad no con mucha delincuencia, no con mucha... Entonces, es posible que migración no llegue a hacer tantas redadas aquí en Boulder como en otros lugares está sucediendo, ¿verdad? Como en Aurora, Denver, creo que ya sucedió en Fort Collins, en Brighton, ¿sí? Entonces, eso me han dicho que es posible que aquí no haya este tipo de redadas tan grandes para la gente migrante. Es lo que hasta ahorita estoy enterado.
Yes, and last meeting or after last meeting, I shared out a couple resources, a couple flyers and upcoming events from community organizations in Boulder County that are helping to lead sort of education of anyone interested in learning, as well as specifically for our undocumented or immigrant populations, so that folks know what to do if they do find themselves confronted with some of the situations, Carlos, that you're mentioning here. I am continuing to collect information as it comes in, and we'll push that out to you all as I can. There has not been a lot of more to share. Aside from Boulder County has a website that is live. They're updating it with more information specifically for the immigrant community, as well as after our last meeting and before this meeting, I believe it was January 30th, I want to say. Nuria and our city leadership sent out a sort of open letter to the community, which I included in your meeting packets, that reaffirms Boulder's commitment to the community, which means everybody, regardless of immigration status, regardless of race, creed, et cetera, et cetera. We are here to serve the community that we are charged with serving. So if you haven't read that, I strongly recommend that you do. If you have questions about it or are interested in connecting with any of the groups that I send information out about, I'm happy to help facilitate that connection as well.
Yo ya la leí, Cristian, y me pareció interesante lo que el Consejo Municipal está diciendo en esta carta. Me gustó y pues de mi parte y voy a hablar por mi comunidad latina, pues agradezco a la ciudad en el apoyo que está dando y también a otras organizaciones y entidades de aquí. Sí. Otra cosa que también estuve en una reunión donde estuvieron unos oficiales de policía y ellos dijeron también que la policía de Boulder no va a actuar como agentes de migración. ellos no van a participar en esto. Y vinieron a esta reunión porque se han sucedido incidentes mínimos como choques o algo así, donde no han reportado porque tienen temor a que la policía también les vaya a hacer algo, ¿sí? Entonces, la policía ya se pronunció también en este caso.
I'm really glad to hear, Carlos, that there has been proactive, it sounds like outreach by local law enforcement to reassure folks that they won't be acting as immigration officers. That's really good to hear.
I think it's still a good thing, but at the same time, I don't think it. Um, how do I say? It's I don't know the word I'm looking for. I don't think it lower the amount of fear. To be honest with you, those immigrants have because I know a lot of immigrants here, and I got blessed that uh, at least I have papers here. And one thing that I think I can tell you that's nice about this community, I'm not speaking for anybody else. I'm going to speak for myself. So I was reached by so many, like anybody who met me before, how would I say, I got divorced, they know that I'm legally here. Okay. But anyone that I met after that, that's a total different life for me because, I had to recreate my life after you get divorced. It's different. I can tell you, a lot of people reach out just to tell me if I ever need any support, if anything ever happened, they will be there. So I think that's a good thing in that community, you know. And one of the experience I've had here in the past 2 weeks, I'll put it that way, that it's insane to see the amount of people that's been living here. And I mean, people that's been living here over 20 years, never done anything wrong to the community, own businesses, own houses, have a child that's probably going to college, some of them, how much they're afraid, which I never, I didn't know it was a thing like that where you can have kids here, all right, and own a house, like pay taxes, still pay taxes. That's the problem that I have, and still be afraid after 20 years that you can just be, someone can come and knock on your door and say, well, you're done. I don't know. I feel like it's still I don't think, I think it's happened so quick the way it's happening. People think it was a joke. I think like people thought, oh, that's not possible. And I've had a few meetings, not to the HRC, but to a lot of immigrants group here that, how would I put it, that didn't know or didn't understand like how huge that is until, for example, a friend was arrested and sent back, a cousin or somebody that get stopped by, which is like Carol said today. I was surprised by somebody that got stopped by the cop that get a simple ticket for a brake light, and then boom, they're becoming a target. So I don't know. I feel like it's. I know I do believe in prayers. Prayers does work, and I have some friends here that they choose not to drive anymore. They make their kids drive them because they still have a valid understand. They still have a valid driver's license, but they still worry like if it's them that get stopped, anything could happen. But if their kids driving them, they still have the right to say, well, you know what, I'm a passenger in that vehicle. That's it. So, I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you, JH, for sharing that, and that, yeah, reflecting that the visits or that active outreach has maybe not reached everybody. That's making me curious if anybody here has ideas on like what gaps are there that and maybe reducing fear is not the best thing. I don't know. I don't want to live in a community where people are afraid that they will be deported, but I also don't want to live in a community where we're trying to obscure real risk. So I don't know, what do you all think there's a role for HRC to play in supporting like accurate information dissemination or like any other supportive role we could play?
Yo tengo está en español, pero también lo tengo en inglés. Se llama la Red de Respuesta Rápida de Colorado. Tiene un número, no sé si lo puedas, está ya en Facebook también. Y ahí están subiendo información sobre todo lo que está pasando aquí en Colorado. Sí.
Which group is it, Carlos, if I may ask?
¿Perdón?
Is that a group
La Red
of-
de Respuesta Rápida de Colorado. Lo tengo en
Okay, I'll
español.
check it.
Ya.
Well, because I know there are a lot of other groups. Every group, let me put it that way. I feel like it's every ethnicity makes their own group because they try to communicate, have a network to communicate among themselves to see if it's, what they can do. So,
Sí, es ese
but
que
all
puso
I-
Emily en el chat.
I'm not sure, Carlos, is there a web page? Do you know? I Googled it and this is what came up, but I don't know if they have a web page or not. I see ACLU Colorado has.
La verdad no,
Okay.
la verdad no sé si tienen un sitio web, pero está en Facebook. Lo puedes encontrar también en Facebook.
Nice. Okay. So Carlos, making sure this number is widely disseminated in our community so people feel like they have somewhere to access this resource. They know it exists in case they want to access it.
Lo hemos estado, bueno, unos amigos y yo lo hemos estado promoviendo y pues yo creo que sí es accesible todo esto y hasta tienen un teléfono donde puede llamar la gente en caso de que tengan alguna pregunta, alguna duda y todo esto.
This is like such a really useful resource. I just opened the link that Emily sent. So thank you, Carlos, for sharing that.
Sí, de nada.
anything else about that, guys?
Feels good. I appreciate all the discussion and everyone's presence with it. Feels good to me.
Well, I can add one thing for you from a business owner here. I can tell you so far in the past 2 weeks, from what I've seen, it does affect the community. And how would I put it? Like, I know a lot of people take risks, but most places that I order parts from, they're using DoorDash, which they charge on me. And in the past, it was not that way. And I don't think there's a solution for that because I've talked to a few owners of those or managers at those stores. So the problem with it is that it's the amount of hate that's there. So let's say I'm a driver and you're an over-the-counter person. So there is a constant threat to say, "Oh, you better be careful with me. I will call ICE." And I feel like, from what we have talked about, it's like these people realize they are powerless. Just understand, just that phrase or sentence, whatever you call it, saying, "Oh yeah, you can't do anything now. I'll call ICE." It's like it makes people leave in really like a different situation. And I can tell you, like it's been really hard. Like delivery that I used to have for like within 15 minutes, it's over 2 hours now, and it's again it costs more because they have to DoorDash it to me and they just charge it, you know, charge the cost on me because there is no delivery drivers. So it's just it's an experiment. So cool. If there's anything else, should we move to the next item there, guys?
Mhm.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, thanks. That's good.
Yeah, obviously I have to read it because my eyes are getting older. I don't know if it's too many medicines. So okay, let me see. Okay. Now it's commissioners updates, which is right on time because it says yeah.
I can provide an update. Unfortunately, it's pretty personal to me. I was a probationary federal employee up until last Thursday, and I, along with, I believe the most recent count was 40,000 Coloradans alone, up to 200,000 or 250,000 people nationwide were laid off without cause. So probationary just means you're in your first year of service, and then it's usually just a box that your boss checks to move you past that status. And this administration is using it as an excuse just to let us go because we have fewer protections. So that has a lot of implications for social services in our state, for the unemployment office is seeing like a overburden of caseloads. I'm sure our workforce centers are going to be overloaded, our SNAP benefits, Medicaid, and some of those are, as you all probably know, also up for axing by the spending bill that they want to pass. So, yeah, just another like human relations thing happening. I don't know how many feds are in Boulder, Colorado. It's like, it was kind of a hike to get down to Golden where I worked, but I suspect many people at least know someone serving. So it's I think I share that with you both from the personal perspective of, major life update, laid off without cause, we weren't given any severance, and we have health benefits for another month and then are cut off. But also that it's likely to have a lot of ripple effects, because there are every different kind of government service we use, they've now laid off the freshest feds. So feds that were doing anything from aviation, traffic control, they laid off at my organization and then tried to rehire our nuclear security people. So it's a big deal, and it's not the last set of firings. So the next phase is reduction in force, which means that each agency has to go through a plan to significantly reduce their workforce. And I don't know, anyone who knows someone who works for the federal government or has worked for them knows that most of us are working really hard and working multiple jobs. I know folks in the local government oftentimes feel that too. But I feel mad, and I feel like really pretty fearful for what the ripple effects are going to be on every government service we take advantage or take for granted.
Sorry to hear that, Emily. Yeah. Thanks for sharing everything. Yeah, and if there's
I'm
any,
sorry to hear that too, Emily. It's pretty.
yeah, is there any way that we can be a support to you?
I mean, if you see any jobs you think I'd be a good fit for, that's great.
I'm hiring. I'm just joking.
Yeah. I'm not very good with my hands, JH. I just waited in line for an hour to ask someone to help me replace my car battery, which I was then told was very easy.
You could have called me though. I would have come. So
yeah, I don't think there is much, Aaron. I think I'm grateful to have you all, and I have a lot of support, and there's a big cohort of us going out into the workforce, which is in some ways really bad for competition, but nice that there's a lot of solidarity and resource sharing happening. Yeah, it also means I have more time for HRC, so you have other tasks for me, I'm up for it. Christian, you canceled the meeting on the day I got fired, and I really could do some actual work. No, I'm just kidding.
Did not know that was happening. I'm sorry.
I didn't either at 9:30. No.
Nice. I think just to reiterate something that I heard earlier, I believe JH, you were talking about it. Well, Carlos and JH sort of in regards to the supports that we have for the immigrant community in Boulder County. We have many agencies and many organizations, sort of like bodies working towards supporting various facets of our community. But JH specifically, I think you mentioned the maybe more friends, peers, family network that operates outside of those like official bodies. And so I think we are fortunate to have a lot of nonprofits, support from our government, local government, et cetera, but also support amongst community members as well. We are fortunate to live in a community that is more tight-knit than others that I have seen. And so Emily, I hope that, and everybody for that matter, I hope you're able to get the support that you need and you're looking for through that community. And I'm really sorry and frustrated to hear that that's happened to a number of folks, Emily included.
Yeah, thanks. I want to emphasize I'm definitely sharing it here because it's like really impacting my life right now, and like do not have any idea, but am scared for how it's going to trickle down to the lives of everybody, especially people who depend on government systems regularly. I think tax season's going to be interesting, and just a lot of things that people already thought were slow. Yeah, we just don't really know. And I don't know, Christian, like if you and Elizabeth can talk about it or what, but there was a spending freeze at the start of the administration, and I don't know how many government grants our city or HHS relies on, but I think those are all they all can become human rights issues very quickly when assistance and support people rely on are cut off.
I am not as well versed in terms of what we receive from federal funding. I can say at a local level, some of the public benefits that you're mentioning, um, SNAP assistance, Medicaid, Medicare, et cetera, those are administered by the county rather than the city. And so I imagine that may be an area that is very much impacted by what we're talking about right now. I can say that we're like monitoring the situation, paying close attention for potential impacts. I personally don't believe the Office of Human Rights receives any federal funding. I would be shocked. I don't believe so. So it hasn't really impacted, at least for the immediate, like my little network here. But with anything we don't know quite well, the like full impacts and full effects of these decisions, we're paying attention, we're learning more and more each day.
I don't know if
Emily,
Boulder. Oh, go ahead,
sorry.
Carlos.
Ajá. Emily, siento mucho lo que te pasó y por lo que estás viviendo. Y pues esta administración no solo está afectando a los migrantes, sino a todo Estados Unidos, porque ha afectado mucha gente. Mencionaste lo de los impuestos y me he enterado por gente que también han sido recortados los impuestos, lo que recibían antes a lo que están recibiendo ahora, ya las cantidades son muy, muy diferentes. Es lo que me he enterado, no sé, ¿verdad?
I wish I could offer any insight. I'm not sure. Did their tax bracket change?
Yo creo que sí, porque la gente me está diciendo que no les están dando lo mismo que le recibieron el año pasado ahora.
Yeah, I again, I'm not a tax expert whatsoever, but I
Yeah.
seem to remember seeing somewhere that the tax brackets were changing. I was referring a little more towards like processing of refunds and stuff, and that's a great point, Carlos, that people can maybe already be seeing at their filing that they're not going to get as much.
Bueno, pues yo de actualizaciones, pues he estado en algunas reuniones de migración, he estado en algunas reuniones de conectores y algo no tan significativo, pero he estado ocupado también en algunas cosas.
So,
No
well, I
major
think
hits for me.
hopefully, Emily, you don't let it kill you because it's just. I think it's a time we're gonna have all of us to cope with because it's it's gonna be hard. Like I have to tell you that I don't think it brings fear in me personally because I know I have a good statures here. Everything is good. But I think what it brings to me, it brings stress where most people are worried about you, something gonna happen, even though I have papers. And to add to what Carol said and what happened to you, there is a small community here with it's about like 26 or 27 women where they have kids with disabilities, and they're the I don't think it's guardian. I don't know the name of it. Like where they because they have to be there full time for the kid. Does that make sense? And I was in a meeting at a church on South Boulder Road where they were all. It hasn't happened yet, but they were all worried, like if the government cut funding for them, like because with a kid with that kind of problem, where they have to be with somebody 24/7. There's no way they would be able to do that. But so far, nothing happened yet. But hopefully, with some good action, somebody can stop that hemorrhage, I would say, to make it better, you know? So,
Yeah, thanks for sharing about another group of people who are bracing for impact on the federal level. Really important to, I've been calling my legislators, calling my Congress people. A couple of them voted for the secretary that I don't know what role the secretaries had in the layoffs, but there were some appointees that were signed in our termination letters. So I don't know how many of y'all are politically active, but making sure the lawmakers are hearing from us, knowing that we're being impacted and people we love are being impacted.
yeah, how do you do?
JH, are you talking to us? Sorry, I think you're muted.
No, I was asking my son to show me something.
Okay.
Control that.
Okay. Well, we wanted to hear what you were asking him.
Shall we move on to the next item in the agenda?
JH, did you give your personal update?
My personal update. Well, I'm healthier now. So I've been battling a respiratory issue for a while. And how would I put it? Gosh, I've done every test possible from, I don't know, x-rays, MRI, sleep study. Um, I don't remember the name of it. And I did respiratory therapy and everything. I am better. And then I think it was a couple of weeks ago, I got the norovirus, which was horrible. I couldn't even talk because it was like just got me. But overall, after that, I think maybe it was the last one. So yeah, I did everything. I even did how do you call it? Like they thought I had mold in my house. I even did a mold study. We had none of it because they couldn't find anything, and that was the issue. And what else did I do? That made me change my bed. It's like I don't know. I'm like, it is what it is. I did it all, but I do feel better. Life is good. Kids are healthy, and how would I say? I'm praying God keeps me healthy for a little bit longer because I don't think I can handle any more sickness before I kind of have a crisis, if that makes sense. So, but I'm better, and thank you, Carlos, for doing all you have done, and I love you guys, and I appreciate it all. So, thank you.
I'm glad you're feeling better, JH. That sounds like
Uh,
a lot that you've been dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a lot, and I'm almost broke. I love laughing though. It's okay. As long as I'm healthy, I'll make it again. So.
You know what they say,
Yeah.
health is wealth.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you, Emily. What did you say?
You know what they say, health is wealth.
It is well. It is, and how would I say that? After past 2 months, I'd say 2.5 months, I do realize it. Like, there was a time I was driving home, and I didn't have my inhaler. They give me an inhaler with like something, and I couldn't breathe. So I just called 911. They picked me up and left the car there and straight to the ER. So I thought I was not gonna even make it. So, but it's better. So it is well. So if you have it, take care of it. So anything else, guys? Hmm? Wow, that was a short meeting.
I have a staff update if we're ready to
Yeah.
move into that.
Sure.
Before we wrap up, I will be the last thing that stands between everybody and dinner. Sorry. I just have a few items to run through. February is Black History Month, and there have been a number of events going on in the community. Most of them have actually took place before this meeting. However, there are a couple more opportunities in Boulder. We have one art gallery exhibition that will be open until through this weekend. It's up at the Nobo Art, the Bus Stop Gallery. It is called The Space Between Us, the black and white of it. And on February 22nd is the closing reception. It's going to be the last day there, but that is free and open to the public. That is all the way up, just a little bit past Lee Hill on North Broadway. And I will send this out to you as I usually do afterwards. As well, the Museum of Boulder has proclaiming Colorado's Black history, the 1840s to today. This is at the Museum of Boulder. You'll have through September of this year to go see the exhibit. And last but not least, the Carnegie branch of the library has a collection of stories, documents from Black business owners in Boulder through the years. That is supposed to be very, very interesting, and that will be available as well through the end of February in honor of Black History Month. So those are 3 opportunities in the community still. And then 2 other just sort of general items. I mentioned at the last meeting, there was a city council study session on homelessness programs that took place last Thursday, the 13th. That is available if you are interested in checking it out. that is available on the City Council's YouTube page. You'll see Elizabeth, as well as our department director, Kurt Fernhaber, and a number of department staff who are working on homelessness initiatives, give a presentation on some year-over-year data, as well as what the city is and community is doing to address homelessness. And last but not least, we have interviews, as we have talked about. One of our commissioners, JH, our chair, his term is coming up, and so we have interviews lined up for new commissioners in the next few weeks that will be taking place. And so that is moving along, and I believe the April meeting is when they would be seated once selection occurs. So just an update that is happening. Oh, and one last item as well. Carlos specifically asked for some information on the chronic nuisance ordinance, which I believe you all may have either heard a presentation on or provided some feedback on in 2024 prior to my tenure, or prior to my time here. The chronic nuisance ordinance was approved in August of 2024 and did take effect in September of 2024. And I'll just share the city webpage that has more information on it if you're interested in learning about that. But just to close that loop there, was voted in by council and has taken effect. That's what I got for you.
Cool. Good job, everybody. We made it. Look at that, 7:29. We're like right on time.
Oh, you're back, JH.
Yes, I'm back. Yeah, I was listening. Cool. So thanks, Christian. And let's see. Should we take a motion to adjourn?
I
Right, is that-
moved to adjourn the meeting.
Yeah.
A second that motion.
Okay. I'll say hi. Thank you. Good to see you all. Huh?
Thanks, everybody. It's really good to see you again,
Thank
JH.
you. All right.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Gracias a
guys.
todos. Buenas
Everyone, glad you're feeling
noches.
better, JH.
Yeah.